BP, you want to hit us with a production start? You want to start us off that way?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday, May 8th, 2026, and you are in the house with the Black Glasses crew, Angel, Joe, and BP. Yeah, and you out there, thanks for joining us. Angel, take it away.
Oh man, welcome back to the Black Glasses Podcast. What's up, Joe? What's up,
Oh my
BP?
gosh. Alive and well.
Yeah. Hey, listen, last week we introduced ourselves, right? And we even started figuring this stuff out. And honestly, to everyone that's out there just, following us, thank you for being here and all that. We're trying to figure it out. We're regular people trying to work through life like everybody else. The world feels really loud right now. War, politics, media, AI, money, social media. Everybody's reacting to everything. And somehow people are more connected than ever while feeling completely disconnected from each other. So today's conversation is really about something simple. How do people, regular people like us, stay grounded while life is lifing, right? The emotional atmosphere in the world is heavy right now. Again, war, there's Iran, there's the fear, there's the politics, there's headlines like every 5 freaking seconds, right? And what does that do to regular people mentally? Joe, what does it do to you, man? What is it doing to you?
Man, well, there's a few things. Is like one of them is the people that got ahead in life. What I'm getting from this, I can share to others, is that get on the track in life, get on a certain track, and just stay ahead in life. Because the people that have their shit together, that are organized, and are this and that, and tenured with something, they remain unchanged in moments like this. They don't get pulled out from the buzz. But people that maybe got off the path or don't have as much tenure or something, they're a lot more volatile and vulnerable, such as myself. And I might get caught up in this conversation or that conversation. So you know, keep stay early in life, stay on track out of the from the high school gates of graduation, right? Stay on
So,
track.
Joe, how are you listening to all that stuff out there that's going on in the world? How are you listening to
I'm listening.
what's going on in the wars in Iran
I'm
and
trying. I'm shutting. I'm judging it. I'm judging it, and I'm shutting it off. It's a lot of useless. A lot of people just yapping. They're not really the person that they're talking about. Like people protesting, and they're not even the person, the cause of. Just a lot of useless stuff going on. So I'm focusing on this, what we're doing together, and my own personal life, and just real progression with my friends and my own personal life. Out in the public, getting involved with all the politics or something like that. I'm staying out of that. And yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
interested in this drama.
BP, BP, how's all that weighing in on you these days?
I'm paying, I'm not like less attention. My attention to it has gone down. I'm still aware of it, yet the noise has gone down because the party is still blaring. Yet I'm just stepping back from it a bit and
Your
observe
voice
it.
is Put your microphone closer, bro. Your volume is
How
low.
is this? How is
Better, that's
is
better.
this better? Maybe it's me
A
speaking.
little bit louder. Bring it closer, a little bit closer, dude.
Yeah,
Stop.
we'll work out that audio work.
Dude,
All right.
it's I got wrapped up in the Kool-Aid Bowl about a year and a half ago, and then a few months ago I realized I've been hitting the punch bowl really hard, and I've stepped back and I'm observing and listening, and
And when
it's
you're talking about the punch bowl, BP, you're talking about what? Like news on TV, your phone? Like what's the
I'm
punch
talking
bowl?
about yeah. So politics and
Yeah.
specifically it's like yeah, the politics, drinking the Kool-Aid or whatever and getting wrapped up like really into it and it's like it causes arguments or it can or discussions and whatnot and it's so the Constitution says like or George Washington apparently because of his story being history to not create these political parties or divide them whatever so we have the two parties and it's natural to fight. You got a football team, you got opposing sides, right? It's set up to cause dysregulation and turmoil and all that. And there is the rank voting system, one, two, three, dot dot dot. The point of it is I realized I was getting wrapped up in it and it was not healthy. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm hearing kind of like with me, right? I'm hearing all like underneath all this is like the emotional exhaustion, right? Of the fear, the noise, the anger, the division. So, and maybe the opportunity isn't pretending like these things don't exist, right? They exist. Like politics does what they do, man. The media is going to do what they do, right? They drive fear, they drive noise.
bullshit.
There's always some type of chaos. So, listen, maybe the opportunity is learning how to stay grounded while they do, right?
this
Eh,
whole thing that's happening with, okay, while staying grounded and present to the conversation, just this is ridiculous what's happening over there again with the oil and the gas. I'm at $5 now, and it's so Henry Ford, his wife drove an electric vehicle, and moving on, we can go down the rabbit hole. Yeah, let's stick to the agenda.
well,
Okay, well,
one thing that
BP, I
helps is
mean, all right, well, listen, I mean, you'll have some opportunities. You brought up the Constitution, you're bringing up some stuff about Henry Ford electric cars. I'd love definitely as we explore these conversations in the future, you bring some fact to it. I don't know much about Ford and the electric car yet, but I'm sure there's some stories regarding it. So, but I get it. Listen, and honestly, man, I think that emotional exhaustion is just fed directly into everything, right? Politics, football, everything feels tribal right now. Everybody's reacting, nobody's listening, things like that. So it's all pretty, it seems pretty normal. So, why do you think people get so emotionally attached to politics now?
There's Okay, good question, because there's a camp I've associated myself with, and I'm like, why do I associate with this camp? Well, I'm like, well, what they're talking about, kind of like what I think and I believe and all. And like, but why is that? Where does that come from? Like, we've got nurture and nature. So does this come from like the home environment? Does it come from experiences? Like, why is it? How is it? Did it? Good question. What was the question again?
Yeah, why do you think people are getting so emotionally
So,
attached to politics now?
because it's like we're core like values, what people hold near and dear to them, or what they see is important, or what they're told to believe is important. I, it's People ain't got nothing better to do. I mean, I guess it's like, so there's people who are in politics, like directly, they're in the political field. There are those who talk about politics who aren't in the political field, and then there are those who don't want to talk about politics, and then there are those who just have no fucking clue, and that can be very, very nice and peaceful.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts, Joe? What gets you emotionally attached, or what do you think? Why do you think people get so emotionally attached to politics now?
I think in my lifetime, I've noticed that today, the way the media and the propaganda portrays like the politicians and all the buzz of the war and everything, it's a lot more focused on like anti and against and oppositional type stuff with two parties against each other or countries against countries. When I was a kid, I don't remember any of the news and all that sort of fluidity being like that type of energy. People, candidates didn't put the other guy down on stage. There's a certain respect that was always there that it diluted in my lifetime. Maybe it was my generation that caused that sort of shift, but so now it's different. The energy and the focus, the attention of the media, the message of the media is to fight and be against and sex change and everything just changed against whatever the norm is. But in the 80s and 90s, in the 80s, I don't remember being like that, but I was too young to maybe even know. But that's what I was saying is like the news is pushing it out that way, and people that don't that's what being influenced from that. But yeah, the news is creating it that way, the propaganda. It's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, no, man, I don't doubt. I would say, I would say we're in some version of a psyop, right? Media has its strategy, right, to activate us through however they want to present news, whether it's fear-based or you know, uh, I always wish for, a brighter day. I think sometimes I want to watch the news and I just want to hear all the good, fluffy stuff, but sometimes maybe that gets too boring for people. But for sure, one of the things I think people stop like just protecting their opinions, right? And they just really started protecting their identity. in this conversation. I have a lot of times, like people say, hey, you want to talk about politics. You're not really talking about politics. You're really talking about your feelings and your opinions about gossip and what you think you know about politics, right? I have
Damn
it.
right.
People don't understand the civics and politics. People barely, they bring up the Constitution. They have no idea what the freaking Constitution is. They'll talk about our rights and basically don't even know what we're talking about or don't know what we're talking about. And then we think we're having political conversations. And the truth is, like, somewhere in there, the level of that communication is like, down. And then, you know, and if you try to be personally responsible for it or bring that conversation in, sometimes that's a problem because as people protecting their identity, then it becomes about like, are you dumb, smart, ignorant, one or the other. And I think people are always going to protect that. So I think a lot of that conversation is getting trapped in our normal inter-day interactions. And we're definitely inside a psyop. When you're listening to media and you can't get the what so, you get an opinion. You get someone driving and it's disguised as news. And, I think it's a disaster. So, who knows, right? But that continues to be out there. But yeah, I think once everything becomes identity, every disagreement feels personal and you can have strong views without losing your humanity, right? I personally think that like you could have strong views and not lose your humanity, right?
A lot of
And
people are uneducated on what they're standing for too. Can you like I'm sure Angel probably can, but can you either one of you say what fascism is in a couple words? What fascism means to be a fascist or fascism? In
yeah, well,
general sense.
why are you bringing it up? Has someone called
I
you a
bring it up
fascist?
because over
You
the
just hear
weekend,
the term.
this girl on social media, she goes around with her microphone, and some guy was on the corner protesting, right? And they bantered for like two or three sentences each, right? And one of her questions for him was, "What's fascism?" Because he was standing, he avoided he didn't know the answer. She asked him three different times. I didn't know the answer either, so I went to Google and I looked it up. Now I know what it is, but so it goes to Democrat, define Democrat, Republican, all these different things. We're standing for all these labels out there, and like people don't even know what the definition of it. And it's like it's eye opening, man, to be protesting for something and you can't even explain what the definition of the word is, or what you're standing for. It's like it's
I
crazy.
must, I,
Yeah.
I must respond to this. Is so fascist is there are just incredibly, extremely well-dressed people, and like, man, that is good fashion. And then there are people who attempt to dress nicely, and they're kind of like fascist.
That's funny, BP, but probably like a far, far take, from what fascism is, right? And I'm not going to claim to be the expert and recite it, but I think, Joe, you talk about, right? We're calling people fascists. People are called fascists. And then when you're like, you're kind of looking like, does fascist fit? Does Nazi fit? When you really look at the definitions of those words, we're far. And then
Mhm.
most people don't even know what it is, right? So, but
Yeah.
specifically, I think if we're thinking of fascism and we want to talk about fascism as a philosophy, right? I think that starts with Mussolini, right? And some of the First World Wars, and that was a strong view of fascism and what that meant. Uh, but yeah,
Dictator-esque, like in the realm of
Communist
in
government.
the and well, anyway, I think the point, in the conversation, not that we're going to define fascism, we can look it up and, there's
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah.
different
Yeah.
places, but I think a good place to look at what fascism is, starting with Mussolini back in Italy and getting an interpretation, understanding that there at that point. But I got your comment, Joe, right? It's like, we're calling people
Yeah.
fascist and people that are calling people fascist don't even know what the fuck fascism means, right? And
Sure. Yeah.
so,
fascism
So it's
is
just
like
an eye opener. It could be any word,
yeah.
but yeah.
But yeah,
degree,
but
like
this is
worse
part
than
of it again,
communism,
right? Like
hates.
listening to opinion and listening to people that's so, irresponsible with their communications and then say something and then people just kind of follow. It taps into their feelings, taps in, and then all of a sudden, like that's the thing for them. Oh, I'm not going to talk to you because you're a fascist. But
I had a
yeah,
cousin,
eh,
he's got a degree in fascism. I forget the name of the university.
Your microphone, bro. You're
he
not
has a
close to the
degree.
head.
Hey, Joe, just stop talking about his microphone, okay? Just
Okay.
let
Is
him,
it?
All right.
It could be the fan. One of my
it's all good.
fans is here. Most of them are outside.
Yeah.
However, if it is an
Okay.
issue, then
No,
No,
we'll
I'm
work
just
it out, BP. We'll work it out. Joe,
all right.
let it go, buddy. All
Yeah,
right.
I
We got it. BP, just get the microphone as close as you can so we got some good audio. But yeah, so we're not going to figure that out, right? But I got the conversation, Joe. I think there's a lot of, use of words and, that we use as human beings as we talk to each other. But again, it's like, what does it
yeah.
look like in this conversation? If you're going to bring up fascism or you're going to bring up the Constitution or something, maybe you should know what you're talking about. And maybe you read it somewhere and maybe you think it's the truth. Maybe you want to go do some research on it before you become an expert, and start slinging it, right? But clearly, if people became responsible for like the words they use and understood, we'd probably be able to communicate better,
this
and
is
we'd probably be able to
Well, yeah.
express more between one another. But
so speaking to the political conversation, coming out like half cocked or not cocked or cocked what? Because there's the lack of information or the misinformation or yeah, if not informed, how can you speak to a subject? It's based upon whatever you're making up, or we've got the echo chambers, we've got the algorithms, and everybody in their camp and everything. So good point there. Really knowing specifically like what is.
yeah, I think a lot of times, we hear something, it's fed, it's through our algorithms, literally coming through our phone, like depending on what your settings are on or Apple, like where it's just coming, right? It's coming at you, media,
Dude,
and
I
they're just
programmed my AI bot is specifically fascist, and I'm being trained. So anyhow, so really, yeah, knowing what we're talking about and knowing that it's the legitimate definition or this is the true meaning of it, and not taking
Well,
something that we hear or see on social media or whatnot. So good, good,
yeah.
good points.
Well,
I guess the
listen, so right.
context. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Adrian.
go ahead, Joe.
Well, I misdelivered because I did bring that up, and in the where I was where when I saw that what was going on is like all these protests, for example, people on the corners standing for this, standing for that, protesting. They don't even know what that protest is about, like the cause, what. So that was like so that's what it's like when the pandemic started. The very first protests were taking place on the beaches because to keep the beaches open, beaches were being closed, right? And they didn't want to. They don't. People didn't want them closed, and everybody and their mother was protesting down there. You could tell they were not all beach people. It was like people that were from. It's just they wanted to get on out and cause controversy. It wasn't about standing for the beaches to be open. It was about coming down there. There's a riot down there. Let's go down there, fucking make noise and just yell and whatever.
Well, Joe,
And
you're out in
Yeah,
California, right? I'm sure the protests were different all over the United States,
dude.
right?
over here, that's
Well,
what they
And
were.
the sand and it's hot, it causes mirages. And I'm like, is it 6 feet? Is it 12 feet? Is it 3 feet? I don't know how far am I from you? It's unsafe. It's crazy.
The
yeah.
helicopters were flying over, and you could see by the crowd the
So
diversity of all the clothes and all
I
that. That
was I was
clearly
out
we're not.
I was out in Los Angeles, like right when the COVID lockdown. And so my friend Ulrich Floresca, Zero Debris, like every Saturday out cleaning the beaches. So the beaches got shut down. We went out there, and it was the two of us. There's three of us: Ulrich, Matt, and myself. And well, yeah, that happened. And Ulrich and I are there. We have footage. Anyway, yeah, the beach is barren. So Joe, I mean, you live there. I had flown out there, but nobody on the beach. And then like the beach patrol, like literal, like cops driving, to keep people off and such. And that's
Well,
it's
yeah. Well, listen, that world of COVID is over, right? Those lockdowns are over. But right, I got that. The impact of it all,
dude.
had an impact on you guys out there in
Dude, the
Chicago.
guy
So,
selling masks at the gas station was just moving them, and they are homemade masks. And I'm like, this is like, what in the world? And I have footage of this, dude. People like you selling bootlegs from the back of your car with the trunk popped. I have like a sign, dude. People they had it popped up, and they're just slinging masks. So
yeah.
keep moving.
Well, listen, man, while everyone was being distracted, whether it was by politics, right? When Trump came into politics in 2016, I think the needle started to move after, an Obama presidency. But listen, while everybody's distracted fighting politically, the world itself is changing. It's been changing like crazy fast, underneath everybody, right? AI, changing jobs, cryptocurrency. Technology is moving way faster than, people can
Dope.
even emotionally process, you
Yep.
know? So like that's been a whole new thing. Does AI feel exciting to you guys, or does it feel kind of scary?
It's
I-
they it, they dance
I'm
around each
excited
other.
for it. I like it actually. It's crazy. It's like one thing I tell people is when I was a kid, I used to have a dream, right? All of us. If I could have a machine that would just make my book report right away and make this spreadsheet instantaneously, like we have that now. And there's a disconnect with the gratitude. Like I was realizing I have my dream came true. Like when I was a kid, if I could have the computers here, the AI now actually can do what I used to dream about being done if I could ever have it done, right? And I'm not overly. You would think I'd be like 24/7 on it, right? Having my whole life being solved, everything you could possibly do, having it get done by it. I'm not reacting that way to it myself, but that was what I asked for when I was a kid, is a computer that will do what AI is doing right now. And it's here. It came to fruition in my life. That's what when Back to the Future, The Breakfast Club, when those movies were on, Top Gun, back in those days, some of my dreams were like having an AI computer.
Yeah,
And now it's
Molly
here.
Ringwald. Yeah,
What would I do if I
Yeah,
had an
yeah.
AI computer when I was a kid? If I had a computer that could do my book reports, oh, I'd be so rich, and we're doing not as much as we could be doing with it. You know what I mean? It's like crazy how and I just realized that a few weeks ago, like the gratitude is lacking for me, just the awareness. So when people remember when we were kids, we had these dreams about this thing, and here it is. We're not even using it to its full potential. I'm not, and I want to be
Well, I
using
mean,
it more.
Joe, I think there's a lot of AI being used to its full, to a lot of its full potential right now, right? But I got it. It's
By the
being used.
masses, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely
absolutely.
being used in the defense industry, right? In the war industry. You're hearing about a lot of young people, creating all these new programs and, creating wealth and systems. So it's definitely but I got what you were sharing, Joe, right? Like as a kid, it's something you
Yeah,
always wish for. Now here you have it. And, there's a new opportunity for people. And
right.
some people have a different kind of relationship to it, right? Some people can step into it and see all the opportunity, and then there's like all the opportunity you're seeing of it. What about you,
Yeah.
BP man? Does AI does AI excite you, or you're a little
dude, it's a
scared?
it's a boxing match. No, it's exciting. It does excite me, and then there's the cloud of doom that comes and starts to rain on the party, and it's like so.
The
All right,
cloud of doom, is that like the privacy or like AI taking over? We're talking
it's I
Arnold
mean,
Schwarzenegger movies. What are they called again?
mm, Terminator.
What is it? What was it called? Skyvance or
Oh,
Skydance, whatever name.
Sky
It
Lance.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Go ahead.
So all right. So I think I've got about 3 minutes. Like in my head, I'm like, there's like 3 minutes to say what I want to say every time. 2.5, 3 years ago, this is like Chat GPT. I'm just like, the first bot I'm playing around with, habit, da da da. I'm watching YouTube. It's some British guy, British black dude, and some Indian guy. I'm like Google or whatever, dude. They're talking about AI. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And about this time, I'm playing like so with Adobe Firefly, they're coming out with their, you know, prompt, generation and prompting it and such with the images. So I'm watching the YouTube and I'm like, all right, this is interesting. These two talking. It's a well-known podcaster, both of them are well-known. Do not know. Blah blah blah. To keep moving, they're like, okay, so we've got a military jet flying, right? We've got the computer and the technology in it, and then it gets hijacked. It gets hacked. So you have military jets flying around with like nuclear weapons that just got hacked from your neighbor or another country. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of scary. That's kind of
Oh, that
dumb.
would be scary for sure.
So at that, I'm like, okay, doom, doom, doom. While I'm having fun with Adobe creating these images, because I'm like, dude, I got stories, I do this and that, and like I can generate these images. Fantastic. So that was like the love hate or the doom and sunshine. Now when we're looking at, okay, the white collar jobs, like coming for the white collar jobs, the software, what it's doing, and then we've got autonomous cars. I mean, driving around. And, I mean, I know I won't say hype, like the hype is real, yet how soon is it going to hit us? And, and to what degree and the effect. And so there's a, universal basic income and like universal, like high income. And it's like, wait, what? So if everybody's out of a job, we're all going to be on welfare. I mean, except for the 3%. And then they're talking about morale going down because, like, what's my purpose? I don't have a job. He's just sending me a check, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, well, why do they even need us? They've got the 3%. They can trade their gold and their airplanes and their aircraft carriers and all that. And they're going to have fun. It's like going back to Rome. It's just throw them in the arena and just let them kill themselves off, right? It's so COVID comes in, everybody's working from home, and then boom, AI hits a tipping point, splashes in. Fifth grade, I'm reading this story. The kid puts on like this helmet and he's flying a dragonfly. This is fifth grade, so it's like 19, it's like early 90s. And it's talking about how
completely different group of non-followers, which basically means double your views. That's free views.
That's our Joe. That's our Joe. Thanks for the commentary, Joe. So BP, go ahead, man. Finish up.
so, this kid's flying this dragonfly around with this, like virtual reality headset on. Basically, yet it's not virtual reality, it's this dragonfly that's flying around. Now, I was talking with my mom a couple of years back, looking at Star Trek and the flip phone. Well, it wasn't a flip phone, but this is Kirk, the Enterprise. Beam me up, Scotty. Beam us up. Beep, beep, beep. So cell phones, flip phone, the first thing there, right? And there are other, the Automatron, like an 1890 something 30-second black and white movie where this guy creates a robot, right? And then it comes
So
out and attacks it.
BP,
Like, whoa, let me wrap
so
it down.
just out of curiosity, like, are you excited about it?
So, 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 so I'm like, okay, mom, I mean, check this stuff out. Looks like Hollywood's, got the thumb on it, like got it nailed down. And a whole lot of the movies coming out, we've got the apocalypse, like the zombies, post World War III. I'm like, oh shit, it's doom. Doom's coming. Doom's coming. So, dude, and the uncertainty, it's like with the jobs, so many jobs. It's not just like, oh, the industrial, the warehouses, we got a robot here, we can just churn out a few more cars. It's like, no, like they're gonna be making food and sweeping the floor and wiping your ass and driving you home and fitting your glasses. At what point? I'm not sure. So it's uncertainty. So
Yeah.
it's what I
So
got.
does AI feel exciting to you, or is it
Okay, it does,
scary,
dude.
or
You
is it a
are
little
look,
bit of both?
it's both. There's a whole lot of excitement. I'm like, this is amazing. This is cool. This is okay.
Yeah,
What can we
yeah.
do with this? So it's like catch the wave and ride it. So we've worked within the bots, the agents. You've trained Jill and I. Got us in, the door of like what it looks like to begin programming and such. So I have it that like let's keep up with what's going on. There are people that are like fields and galaxies over me and ahead of me, yet at least keeping my finger on the pulse to like what's happening in the world and being a part of it, to the extent because like when the internet came out, if you're not using the internet, whoa, you're out of touch. You know, if you don't know how to type, if you can't get on the internet, get your Gmail going, search, it's like your history. So there's excitement and there's also that uncertainty. So it's doom and sunshine. It's a yin yang. They dance around each other.
Yeah, well, I think I think there are a lot of good opportunities. Like I'm excited about AI. I've heard all the fear-based conversations, right? Like the impact it could have on the military industrial complex, right? You shared like a kid can now hack and maybe get into it and all of a sudden like literally controls weapons of mass destruction or someone, be that motivated, right? But there's always that part of me, and it's I can't remember the guy's name from the show 24, Jack Bauer, right? We always have those guys in America. Like there's always those superheroes that are going to make sure, like
Kiefer Sutherland?
Kiefer Sutherland, yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's always going to be those guys in the world that are going to protect all of us human beings, from those potential incidents. But, I think in terms of like the opportunity it's done is, it's kind of I'm not going to say it's leveled the playing field, right? It's definitely created some new opportunities for a lot of people, right? That, you know, maybe their jobs, their work environment was challenged by this, by this technology already, or they're in jobs, their identity is tied to their work exactly, and they're not sure exactly how to feel about this. So I think, I'm excited about AI. Do I have concerns? I'm listening to, Elon Musk, and there's something going on between that group and ChatGPT. And then, there are all these other all these other AI technologies that are out there, in terms of working with the government. So I don't know which one's going to be the good for the people, but what I do see is an opportunity, to use AI to expand, to continue to create. And I think we just heard, Joe and I were talking about it earlier. Gary Vee makes a comment about, AI virtual influencers replacing real influencers.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck, so like even real influencers now, like holy shit, now they have to worry about AI, things. But anyway, I still think there's a huge gap, right? There's going to be an AI world, there's AI technology, there's room for that. And then I think, there's the human capacity for AI and the development of that.
Mm.
And, I've shared with you guys, I think the greatest currency we're all going to have is our authenticity.
Mhm.
And I think there's
Yeah.
going to be a world of that, right? Where
Dude.
people want authenticity and people want AI, and they're going to go get it, however they need to do it.
It's dude,
You
double
know?
down on the
So,
Exactly.
but I definitely think, AI exposing just something way deeper, right? How people's identities get tied to that, you know, uh, it's definitely exposing that. So, when the world changes, a lot of people start to feel lost, but
the fear, the
yeah,
fear factor, right? The unknown, the uncertainty. And speaking on the Hollywood movies, that I'm thinking, okay, we've got the books. So 1984, Brave New World, Animal Farm, and then we go to Roswell, New Mexico, and it's like, dude, if we're getting this kind of technology now, and like deep fakes, I remember hearing about deep fakes like years ago, right? No, it's a deep fake. So if the civilian population is receiving this now, the does the government have? And my neighbor next door, the kid, I mean, he's something. I'm kidding. Kidding. I'm serious. No, so for real, like if we got this and they're like, here, have fun, play around with it. Oh, what do they got? So books, Roswell, the movies. Yeah.
well,
Um,
there's always been some version of a mastermind, right? Leading
Area
the
50.
charge, whether it's AI, maybe it was the Rothschilds back in the day with all their central banking systems
it was
creating
old money,
economies.
old money, old money.
So yeah, who knows? Or maybe it's just old alien money or old alien technology, or it's all been in Roswell. But anyway,
Exactly.
oh yeah, man. So right,
The
but
aliens had a dude. Clearly the pyramids and in South and Central America.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if we put on our black glasses lens, right, and we look at this, maybe AI for people that are like super scared of it,
Mm.
it's also one of the greatest opportunities ever created for people to like reinvent ourselves, right?
Unreal.
Yeah,
There
right.
definitely benefits.
Unfucking real.
Yes, sir. I mean, with what you've designed, program, put together, I'm like, oh, this would be good. Can we do this? We tweak this, do that, blah blah blah. So I'm definitely seeing, you know, the benefits. I mean,
Yeah.
beyond seeing it, I've experienced it, and I shared with you a little bit about the bot you created, and my mom answering the questions. And I have some footage of that. It's just like, wow.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
dude,
there'll be more to share about that, on our podcast and stuff like that, talking about bot technology and the things that we do over here in our other projects. So cool. So yeah, and then listen, man, and then on top of AI, right? Then
mm,
we have social media that pours gasoline on top of all of it, right?
mm,
Everybody comparing themselves, everybody feeling behind, you know?
Peer
dude.
pressure.
Do you guys think social media makes people feel worse about themselves,
Oh,
or does it make them feel better?
I feel worse. I can't watch it. I'm like, damn, I'm supposed to be creating. I can't watch these people because I know I can do it. I can do it better. No, yeah.
So social media makes you think it makes people feel worse about themselves? I mean, I think I do sometimes. I think I watch some social media. I watch this thing. I'm like, fuck, like I'm a
Oh,
nobody. Like this dude's in everybody.
yeah,
But
yeah.
It makes me feel like my breasts are a little bit small, because sometimes, no, I'm just kidding. But it doesn't make me feel bad. it makes me feel good. Like I get more of a positive vibe in it all because I have certain things that I do on it. Like when I'm on, I don't just do everything in the world on social media. I usually have something I'm doing on each app, like the same thing pretty much every day. And my algorithms or whatever they call it, and whatever it is badass. And
They're
so
all psyops, dude.
I
All
just turn on an app and it fucking ignites.
Awesome.
It's on fire. Everything's great. And just video after video after video, because I have really, really, truly interesting things to myself on just set to settings. Give me only this, give me only that. So I went into my settings and I told it what I want to see, and it paid off. And
Yeah,
so I
I don't think a lot, I don't think a lot of people, I think there are a lot of people that have a unique relationship to social media, right? So I have very similar settings, right? I kind of turn my stuff off. I don't want to be distracted, but I do get distracted, right? Like it's coming at me. Whatever this thing wants to do, it's coming for me, right? They're trying to find ways for it to land over here somehow.
You've heard about the camera and getting into into brainwashing, the subtle. You've heard about. We'll cover that in another one.
We can cover that conversation
How
another
much time do you
episode.
spend on social media? It's entering. It's probably too late already.
Well, it's definitely a new conversation, right? It's something to be responsible for. You like we talk about our mental health, our well-being, and like shit. Like part of that conversation is this phone,
So
right? Or these
yeah,
computers or how we're living. So,
which that
you
phone is
know,
a computer, dude. Interesting. Interesting, is it? Yeah. So YouTube, the social media. I mean, it's been around for what, like 20 years now? How long has YouTube been around? It's been around a minute plus.
2005. It came out in 2005.
2005. So we're like at 21 years. So
Mhm.
it's with a cell phone, with the internet, that instant connection to the entire globe, and then putting this content, putting it out, it's pretty mind blowing
yeah.
for me to
So,
stop, sit down, think about it because continue. Yes.
so the question was, right? Do you think social media makes people feel worse about themselves, right?
Either teenager or
Yeah,
younger.
right.
Can
Right. It's definitely got a lot of social impact on all kinds of people, right? There are young people that see it, and then there's a senior population that sees it, and then there's
And they took
lenses of the
change
80s, the 90s. Uh,
we hung out in person without
Yeah,
me
yeah.
and Brian are unique because our generation started
Unique.
without the internet. We were born without the internet, right? Without the web, I mean. But and then it came into our life when we are teenagers. So we know both worlds, right? But the kids today, people are born like after 1994, because that's when the web started. They communicate through all these things. That's their life. That's how they call each other. They app each other. So they could be impacted a lot more because if whatever's going on there, whatever the trends are, that's gonna be their life. They so it can bring them up or down, you know what I mean? Like, up and down, but probably more downs than anything because people compare themselves. And
so
anyways,
do you guys think like why do you think like sometimes I feel like I'm behind, right? Do you guys ever feel like you're behind on the
Yeah, because the babies are coming out with like born with computers and the phone in their hand. It's like, oh God, yeah. So, right, population's getting smarter or something,
yeah,
whatnot. It's probably something in the water, the food. So, yeah, there is a degree of that feeling like because of all the tech and they're growing up with the tech. It's like that's just it's part of say who they are. Yet it's just, that was the world they
yeah.
came into. However, on that note, I was I do not believe I documented, like, saved the URL or filed it. Yet European across the pond pulling, might have been Sweden, pulling the laptops and the iPads, the tablets out of the classroom. So, there's the tactile from writing it down versus typing. It affects the brain receives it differently, right? So like this technology, it's just blown past evolution. Like it took how long to start speaking and then create a written language, and then this technology comes along. Here's a computer, you can just talk to it, and it. So
Yeah, I think the
uh,
advance for, the opportunity for human beings to educate, and scale up, no matter where they are in the world, is really, really a good component.
balance, right? So the moderation is like, how much time are you spending on the screen? don't know, so maybe half of the day I'll type, the other half I'll write or something. It's a good conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So sticking inside of it, do you think everybody like secretly feels like maybe they're losing a bit? I kind of sit over here wondering, what am I losing? What am I missing out? You know, should I sit
Yeah.
in like what do you guys think?
Well, when you said you felt like you're behind, I wanted to ask you about that. What do you behind what? Like, what would you say if you were to say
You can
one?
look at social media. You're working around with ChatGPT, right? Like ChatGPT is a big go-to, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you got to use Claude, and oh, you got to use Perplexity, and oh, you got to use Gemini. And, oh, and, it's just a constantly moving piece, and you're just like, okay, am I behind in social media? There's this new strategy for this. Hey, hey,
Yeah.
this is, hey, this is direction. This is what I'm starting now. And then next week it's like, oh, it's this way now. But
Dude,
it's the speed that
I'm
this thing is moving at.
so far
Yeah, you
behind.
start
It's like
wondering.
giant plasma TV, man. I'm just back. Like, Joe, go. This is good. Joe, take it.
No, I'm
Hey,
saying is
Brian, real quick, we moved back into 4 frames here and the thing, I
Oh,
guess we lost out. It's okay. You want to go manage that, real
thank
quick?
you. No, thank you.
Go ahead, Joe. Did you want to
no, I'm
complete a
saying like
communication there?
what we're speaking to is like my Instagram, for example. I love it. It's fucking unreal how awesome it is. Like what I get my on my feed because I specified my feed and it gives it to me. But what I'm getting after is like I'll get one of this really golden business idea. Let's say one of the videos, right? And it'll tell you how to do it and DM me for the whole whatever, right? So you start that day, but I swear to God, by the end of that day or the next day, you'll see another video that's even above and better than that one for making this or doing that. And then you're like, fuck, which one am I going to go to this next one? And you're always on to something else. You can never spend more than a couple of days before you find something bigger and better than the previous one. And it just keeps getting bigger and better. Like, at what point you got to stop and just do this level that you're at, the one that you saw that day? Because I seriously see badass shit every day that's just getting better than the day before. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just, yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, no, I think it's important, right, to stay consistent and work through that grind. That's probably the best uh tactical way to move through something. And right. And if you want to keep learning new things, then you watch them and you integrate them into your practice versus like, I know sometimes I got the experience, like, right, you're working, you come up with a format, and then all of a sudden, there's a new influencer, this form you're looking at and going, oh, I like that. And then they got their secrets, their tips, but it's completely different navigation to get there. So, and then all of a sudden, like you want to bring this in, you almost feel like you have to abandon ship what you're doing and then jump on the new ship. And I don't always think that's the best way to go. I think it's like you said, be consistent, work with what you got, improve the quality of your work as you move through it. But yeah. So yeah, no, I got it. I think one of the big things with when we're talking about like social media, maybe it's impacted me just a tiny bit, sure, right? Like, but I think comparison destroys self-generation. You know, I think,
Yeah.
once your attention becomes fully consumed by everybody else's life, you stop creating your own.
Or just on a monitor. It's like you're not talking to people in the real world. You're not going places. Yeah, it doesn't. If we are pack beings, or the way we're hardwired by nature, we're pack animals. So if you're living alone in a bedroom or whatever on a monitor somewhere, you're not in a pack you're not with another person. And we survive through centuries by being pack animals, right? Men are the hunters and gatherers. Women are they nurture and weave and whatever. But together we all coexist for our survival. But now we're living on a monitor. It's like there's no connection with somebody else. And you guys have seen the same stories I've seen where kids literally don't know how to talk to somebody else for different play settings. It's tragic. It's like there's got to be some sort of way to use it and have it there, but also not have me change from it, like the negatives. I don't know how to. I don't have the solution. It's a
Well,
great tool.
I think it's, I think in today's age, right? If we look at, how are we building communities now, right? The normal nuclear family, that's being challenged. Our communities, there's tribalism going on. There's this whole psyop, and I think people, as we start to look to reconnect, right? Clearly, We're not going to avoid technology right now, right? Our phone is one of our main connection points to communities. In
That
our
overheat.
phones, in our phone is AI, in our phone is media, in our phone is news. How we relate to it, right? Comes some of our own settings. But, I think maybe the opportunity, Joan, what you're talking about is finding the balance of using AI. You get to meet people, gives you an opportunity to go out there, socially network. And then when people want to know more about you, what you're up to, maybe there's a platform you've built for yourself to be like, hey, I'm out here having fun and just being in community. But if we want to become community, or you want to participate with me or follow along and do business, here's my platform. Here's what I'm about. Here's what I do. So I see all these opportunities with the use of AI media, and then people finding their identity. But yeah, it's a balance, and it's a skill that's challenged. So maybe the opportunity is not to BP, need me to let you in that room so you can get that fourth as
Yes.
you work out our black glasses podcast icon showing up in the fourth frame.
Your phone overheated.
But yeah, so maybe the opportunity, may not be escaping, the world, like when we use social media or when we use AI, but it's to use it as a tool, to integrate back into the world, right? Like reconnecting ourselves inside of it. Right. And that's the lens. And that's something that we talk about, in the authentic UIP bot, right? That's part of the work of that we're doing. So,
With
all
discipline
right.
and control, like you said it right there, because I saw this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like last week or the week before, there was a school that when the kids get to school there, the school has the control to do this, and they do it. Take all your backpack, you like turn it in, right? Your cell phone, all your electronics, you don't have them. So you check in the morning, and then you go through your whole school day without electronics. And then when you leave, you get your bag when you leave, right? And so like laws also stop us, like other public schools around here, from being able to do that. So that school had to be a private school, but making the laws so that people could have that control back, because that's what the school should be doing, is having you be at school when you're at school, and then you come
Yeah.
home, and then because when you have the
Hey,
yes.
I'll share something with you, Joe. I don't know if you remember, I used to have the little handheld Teleco games,
Okay.
little blip dots. We're sneaking that into school.
Sure.
It was as small as a phone, it could be. You're like, so I think, that distraction's been going on for some time right now. And, and I
Come
got it
on.
like,
That's a
it's probably a good, learning course for children to have a responsible relationship to social media, right? And the tools they get. Parents want to give their kids phones now for a lot of reasons. For safety,
Babysitter.
right? They want to track it. But then what comes with that? Your kid has access to
Oh
Mhm.
media, right? And
God.
then listen, people didn't want me to listen to a song. The devil went down to Georgia. He was
Oh
looking for a
jeez.
soul to steal,
Jeez.
right?
Jeez.
Country music,
That's
speed
like
metal country.
We
PG
would
with
get my friend's father's keys, who had this customized van. We'd get in the van, we'd lock ourselves in the van. My friend, I hope I don't get anyone in trouble, Marty Hogan back in the day. Well, I think it was his dad's van. And then we'd go in the van, and whatever tape was on, we play that song. I mean, we must have listened to it like 100
That's
times,
awesome. That's
right?
awesome.
And I
Yeah,
even
yeah,
remember the line. So,
yeah.
you know, the kids, the young people, they find a way to, find
Shirley
these
Daniels, man,
distractions.
that by what's out there now, that is like that might as well be sitting in the front pew at church almost. I mean,
Yeah.
I get that the content is a little
You're
Well, but
asking.
anyway, my point is, right, like we're as young people, right, we're going to do what we're going to do to get to the things that we like, however, and those kids are going to get to that, they're going to get to that phone, to me, they're going to use it. And then it's challenging for parents, right? It's got to be hard for parents, at home, because it takes something to be a freaking parent. It takes something to, teach your kid or to show your kids ways, right? And so
and
I'm
you're
sure
on
there's
and the
a,
parents on the phone just as
So what?
much.
yeah,
And what
yeah,
are
the
what?
parents are just on the phone. I was on the bus the other day. Everyone was on their phone.
Dude, it zombies.
Everyone was on it, right? Every young person, every older person. There might have been like one or two of us. I'm like, I'm not going to take my phone out. I'm not going to take my phone out. And then, like
Oh
8 minutes into the ride, I'm like, I'm going for my phone to be like, let me just check the weather forecast. So yeah.
yeah.
But look,
Slide,
right? I
slide.
think, I think the
What do you,
opportunity. again, is not to resist all of it, right? Is but to look at integration and be responsible because the tools are powerful, man. The tools are helpful, right? The tools can connect us, in a moment. The tools can maybe save us in emergency situations. The tools can optimize us, but again, it's what is the relationship? What's everything that goes
Yes,
on? So right. So we've been talking, man, about a bunch of things, and something that's interesting inside all this conversation, and I'm pivoting to something is look at elite athletes. I would think, not that they don't have access to social media, but when we talk about technology, you're seeing almost the opposite mentality, right?
Mhm.
You're seeing discipline, you're seeing sacrifice, you're seeing brotherhood,
Elite athletes, Joe.
elite athletes, you're seeing performance under pressure, you know? Like look
Mhm.
at football.
Mm.
You know, football deeply, deeply connects people, you know, deeply, deeply connects. What do people not understand
Mm.
about like NFL athletes?
Concussions,
They eat pretzels too. They're normal. They're same as us. We could be there. Is that what you're addressing? Like,
camaraderie,
Yeah, like
cheering.
you think average people could survive in like an NFL training camp?
no, but when they come home though, they eat pretzels just like us. And it's like that's what I'm saying. It's
They
adds
drink
up.
beer too, and
Well,
fight
no,
Right.
like
dogs.
so,
They
hey, Joe, right? Like, look, we're talking about a couple of things, right? We're talking about AI, we're talking about social media, right? And the things.
Mhm.
And then you're looking at freaking professional athletes.
High
Yeah.
caliber,
They have. So go on. Keep
highest
expand.
caliber.
Say something more on that. Trying to
Well,
follow.
So
do you think could average people survive, one day, like in an NFL training camp?
So
never,
in their world, probably not, right? Yeah.
dude.
No. No.
I
No. Not no.
So
No.
technology, you opened that up, and I was thinking of the technology would be the bio like connecting all the sensors and stuff. So the batters
Well,
swing or
I mean,
running, and all that.
listen,
There's like, okay, you need to just like shift it a quarter of an inch here, and you're like, and boom, you're gold.
yeah,
Using yeah,
think about it, right? Like if someone was saying to you, hey, BP, we're gonna get you ready, you're gonna go to an NFL combine, and all of a sudden you're just an average Joe, and you're like, NFL combine. Probably the
Hmm.
first thing you're gonna do. You're probably going to go research it. Technology is going to help you figure it out.
yeah, for real, right.
You go hide
Right?
out somewhere.
All of a sudden now you know what you're walking into,
Right.
right? All of a sudden AI is like, hey, you're going to an NFL combine? We need to get a training regimen in here.
Combine.
You're going to have to do
Study.
a high jump, a 4-3, 40-yard sprint. All of a sudden now, like AI, now all of a sudden you get on social media, you're checking out, NFL combines, you're trying to
You
figure
mean
out stuff.
like a combine, like putting two things together, or two or more
Yeah. Do you
things
know what an
combined?
NFL combine
Well,
is?
dude, you say combine, I'm thinking like
Okay, got it, got it,
corn,
got it.
agriculture. I'm like, damn, and that
Well,
sounds
listen, at a
pretty.
base level, it's much more complicated like this. When you get invited to an NFL combine, what's in the background, what's going on, there are a
Yeah.
lot of levels of this,
All
right?
right.
There are people that are coming into an arena to perform different types of exercises of speed and strength and mobility and knowledge and this and that. And they're doing it in groups of, professional scouts, scouting out teams,
Yeah, they're
right?
trying out for this now. Okay.
Right. So that's
Trying
a
out.
kind, when I make a reference to that, that's kind of the reference I'm making to, right?
Okay, yeah. See,
Clear.
So
okay.
Well,
before they get into the big show or the big game where they're coming from, that's a combine.
is
And
it? Is it? Combine or combine? We're gonna talk semantics and language next month. You- So the combine is just different activities for gauging, measuring.
You try to go in the NFL, right? You got to go to the tryouts,
yeah,
right? You know,
Yeah,
NFL try.
like before you're even out in the field tossing footballs, you're doing
yeah,
this, that, and the other. Anyways, interesting.
yeah.
And
But listen, but why I'm bringing up professional athletes like in this environment, right? Is because like
this
those
is
are the dichotomies in the world, right? We have like AI coming in the game. We have wars going on, right? People are
it.
dying, we're
Well,
killing each other. right? And then I'm just bringing up the conversation around like, really sports in general, but NFL maybe as the example, the biggest
It's
example.
popular, right? It's the most popular American football. Right, right.
Well, I think inside this environment, right? Like why does football mostly connect so many people?
Because it's aggressive and it's battle war like, it's just it's the toughest. It's high caliber and it's kick ass, whoop ass, beat down,
No, I
I
haven't.
mean, hockey is, similar.
Well,
Yeah,
I think there's a
there's
similar
more grass than
relationship to
ice, I
it.
think with people. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's definitely, we could be talking about hockey, we could
Well,
be
so on football, like, I mean, the plays, right? Essentially, you're going to war. These are our troops. These are, our special ops, our techniques. Like, we're observing the enemy, what they're doing. We're going in to do this. Like,
okay.
it's, dude, I mean, come on now, and it's, hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
Whoa,
So
whoa, no, no, hold on, hold on. So, 30 seconds before this podcast ends, I must get my say in on being behind on the AI and technology. So we can weave that back in to run sports right now. Sportscast with the black glasses coming up Friday night tonight. Join us in the arena.
Well, I think, BP, I think it's more the conversation like when we talk about professional athletes or sports or even the NFL, right? You know, I don't forget who these athletes are, right? The discipline, the sacrifice, the pressure, right? Like life
damage,
doesn't care how you feel on game day, bro.
their
You're
body, damage
high end
body.
yourself.
Yeah, like life doesn't care how you feel on game day. You still have to
there's
perform, right? And
there's no good time for a
that's not
flat
just
tire.
football, right? That's hockey,
Yeah, right.
baseball, all that stuff, right?
I
So
can speak.
Miniature
So
golf.
I've talked to about 40 to 50 NFL players on the phone and through as a paralegal. There's a concussion
Cornhole.
law against the NFL, but my point is this. I
Horseshoes.
I had the files to about I was assigned 50 players, okay? And I talked to these guys to get all their injuries through the years of their career, right? And the guys that I was talking to were famous in the 60s and the 70s on the NFL and the 80s, right? So I didn't even know their names, okay? A couple of them were like in the 90s I recognized, but most of my guys were in the 60s. And the point is this, they have damaged bodies. And at that time when they're playing, we're talking about that Angels, they'd get hit on the field, right? At that in the 60s and the 70s, they didn't know about concussions in the brain, how to not hit the brain a second time when you get hit the first time. So they'd get right back in, they'd do smelling salts and they'd come right to it and they go back in the game, right? And they'd re-damage their head again, right? And it's getting hit twice, whatever. And through their career, man, their brain deteriorates after their career, continues to deteriorate from the damage that hits during their career. And I was talking to these guys, man, and their wives, and like about getting all their injuries, where they went to, all the facilities and all that to get the injury records. But man, these guys got a beating they didn't even know they were taking. It's like walking through like where a nuke went off when they for the first nukes. We didn't know what the radioactivity afterwards, the fallout. It's like walking through one of those zones. They were walking through one of those zones. It's like by getting hit over and over again. They didn't know what they were doing to themselves. And the helmets sucked back then. And your career's on the line. You had play, be a man, go back in there. Now, if you get hit, even fucking, if you break a nail on the play, he's coming on out. They put you on the, it's extra care now. But back then, it was like be a man and get back in the
well,
next play.
it's a completely different technology. Now, I think all sports are very different now, right? There's a lot of science that's come into the sport, but right, the evolution,
Video games.
They took a
yeah,
beating.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
just
to sit in a chair for 12 hours drinking soda. Calm down, all you gamers out there. We're going to touch on that later.
Yeah. But inside, in this conversation, and honestly, maybe that's why sports resonates just so deeply with people, right? Because
It's still
life doesn't
human.
stop because
It's
yeah, life doesn't stop because we're uncomfortable, right? Like you still got to show up, and that's kind of the lens of our conversation, whether it's in AI, whether it's, we're talking about media, social media, a lot of times like those conversations could stop us, right? Whatever that might be. They might intrigue us. They might want to have us look and participate, but somewhere in there, we're reflecting, we're comparing, we're doing some version of ourselves. So I always like to look at, professional athletes as a good benchmark because like they go
Yep.
when they do this, the discipline, the power, like what they do to show up, what it takes to show up on game day and live that life is
I mean,
powerful.
Major
And
League
Do you ever
Baseball
happen
players are
to?
like how many 130 some games or whatever, like on the road, like that's like almost like half of the year they're playing games, not to mention practice and all that. That's hardcore. I mean, like
yeah,
it,
Do you ever feel?
we're gonna have a whole segment dedicated to
that's what it takes, man, to be, to master a craft, that's the life, you know, it's a big commitment, it's a big all in,
and
regardless,
love of the
regardless of,
game, love of the game.
because
Do
like
you
I
guys?
said, life doesn't stop just because we're uncomfortable, right? You still got to show up. So, and that's what this conversation is about, right? How do regular people stay grounded when life is lifing, right? What actually makes you stronger, Joe?
So so I'm gonna say like my answer to that is like it might not be myself, but the people that have shit going on, like or they're tenured with this, they have this hobby for this 30 years. You can go golfing, you can play the drums, you can tap into these things that keep you going on when there's negative around you, right? Banter around you that you don't want to engage with it, right? When you have something going on for yourself, self-interest that you do for yourself, you do with yourself, you can always tap into that, and that keeps you centered. It's like I don't get dragged into the pulled out of the herd. It's like, and I was just thinking about you guys when you're saying that right now. If you have a celebrity or a sports guy that you identify with, if you have like Kobe Bryant. He was born in August, same year I was born. I was born in November. He was born in August, right? The same year. So my whole life, even though he's white, I'm white, but every time I saw that guy doing whatever he's doing, saying whatever he's saying, being wherever he was being, I saw myself because he would be one of my friends. Like we'd be like hanging out. So wherever he was at, I saw myself right there. I was like, I could be doing that right now. That could be me. I could be there right now because he was the same age as me. He was even closer to Brian's age. But do you guys have anybody like that you've ever identified with that's like a celebrity where you see yourself in them, like that from like age or any sort of things you guys have in common that you identified with? Did you ever
Right.
have
So
that?
yeah, so Joe, Kobe Bryant made you stronger, right? You were a fan of Kobe, the Mamba mentality, right? That was about
Yeah,
that was about discipline,
yeah,
his
exactly.
craft, who he was going to be on the world, right?
Yeah,
He went through some stuff as a young person, he made some mistakes and then he learned from them, and his whole thing was about being the greatest of all time, being at that level.
we could
So
we could
yeah, when you asked me, I was a big fan of him. I'm a big fan of Michael Jordan. I was always a big Patrick Ewing fan of the
yeah,
New York Knicks,
that guy
the
was
big guy
brilliant.
like that. So how do you deal with uncertainty then without losing yourself, BP?
Yeah, what do you yeah,
How do you deal with uncertainty without losing yourself?
how do you
I
do it?
write, create, so you know, take to the passion. I take to the path of the passion. I mean, this what do I do to be with the uncertainty, deal with the uncertainty? Uh, you
Or to
know,
not deal with it, to not get sucked up
so
in.
in writing and writing lyrics, writing music, a form of expression, and uh, video games. Wait, then I just now I haven't played video games forever, and yeah, they're on the phone, even just simple like like Tetris, not to get it involved. I mean, so escapism. Yeah, there's the health and benefits of escapism. How long are you escaping, and are you avoiding something that needs to be dealt with or whatever? So, how do I deal with the uncertainty? Uh, sorry, stay sane. It's almost like fighting fire with fire in a sense. So with the technology, it's just working with the technology, almost like when in Houston, uh, I mean when in Rome, just like let's catch the wave and ride it. So getting outside and getting in the dirt, getting back to like the earth and nature and like simplicity without and before life was all this, we're like technology was like, dude, an arcade game. Whoa, yeah, we're going to Godfather's, eating pizza and playing the arcade game. So get outside, get in the dirt, just human contact and such, and getting away from it. So that's it's coming to me immediately regarding.
Yeah. How about you, Joe? How do you deal with the uncertainty without losing yourself? Or do you lose yourself? I lose myself sometimes, I'm sure.
I don't go out. I don't go protesting on the corners, whether I'm for that or not. Protesting is noise. I hate that shit. So no. And on my own time, when there's drama or there's no drama, I can play the drums. That's one thing I can do. I've done a lot of hiking throughout my life, different times, phases of that. And I, social media, being online right now, watching a lot of videos on YouTube, but learning stuff, like interesting videos. There's good content out there too. I get intrigued with that, like advancing my learn. I mean, I've learned so many different trades and industries, things to do, like how to cook. Like I'll spend hours cooking like plush food. I mean, or go online, learn how to put it just together, that together, from a video, then go do it in my car or bicycle. Like, so I use the internet and YouTube primarily the internet search engines, but for anything. But I don't have a big answer other than that. That's my answer.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Okay, man. Well,
What about
hey
you?
Joe, you're not being scored, right? Listen, life is always gonna life, man.
Yeah,
Things are
I'm trying to
happening,
think.
right?
I don't have anything else. I'm trying to think of my other hobby. Do I have anything else that I do? Probably do, but I mean, not significantly. Drums is the most significant, but cooking is the most significant, hiking somewhat, not really, but yeah, I've done it trillions of times, but not nearly like the other ones. But I'm in food, man. I'm a foodie, man. I'm freaking quality, plush, moist, perfect, perfectness. I love making it perfect.
All
That's my
right.
Angel, what do you do
So what
to
what
deal with the
what
uncertainty?
you know, I when all this stuff is happening, all the pressure, all the freaking money problems, all the fear, all the uncertainty, all the loss, I'm at an age where, I'm starting to deal with, you know, family members. But I just think it isn't about becoming invincible. It's just really learning how to be with what's so without collapsing into reaction. And as a human being, I'm pretty adaptive. I can recreate myself again and again and again. And I can always count on, and I really believe a lot of people do that all the time. So, that keeps me grounded in this crazy world that, I think human beings are incredible and capable. And I think that way more of them than I think of that they're diabolical. And I got that there are diabolical people out there, and they're a small fraction, and they're probably the most influential people in the world because sometimes they say, to do something big, you got to be bad. But, that lens alone, that's super disempowering. And so,
What's diabolical?
that's how I stay grounded, you know? So
What's that?
what do you guys, what is one thing that society has completely lost its mind over? There's one thing that society's completely lost its mind over. Like what conspiracy theory gets you?
Pokemon, Teletubbies, cat videos.
I think society's definitely lost its mind over the order. Get the order wrong in the drive-through. Okay, I've seen so much drama going on. Like you fucking Jason, get my French fries, and this like so much different drama around customer service at the retail counter. People going back to stores and the worker not knowing what the fuck's going on, and just people being bullies at companies, going back to a company. And I've seen so much shit going on. Like um, that's one thing. I don't know if being a Karen, people like being a Karen. Some of them,
Like the pep and the peeve.
yeah, they put a pep in the peeve.
So being a Karen, you think that's what
Yeah,
society's lost its mind?
Being a Karen in a cat video.
being an asshole back to a cop that pulled you over because you were speeding, right? You were speeding, so you got pulled over, and then he's an asshole all of a sudden, and you're talking shit to him, Or like, and there's a good one with the
Well,
law
there's other
enforcement.
crime going on, man. So you have a valid point.
What about the people on the streets disrespecting law enforcement, like straight out talking shit to them? That's stupid, dude. These guys got batons and fucking guns and tasers on them and handcuffs, and you're gonna fucking take that on with none of that yourself?
Do pepper sprays.
Yeah, and pepper spray. Come on, yeah, I should add worse to it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And
What about you, BP? What do you think? What's one thing society's completely lost its mind over? I mean, there's the big elephant right in the
Amer-
room. It's
American,
always politics for clearly, right, or American values.
American Idol. No. So
I think
reality TV
transgender
shows.
equally.
So what is one topic? What is one thing that America or the world
What
has
is one thing society, any
society?
society's
Yeah.
really lost its mind over?
This. Yeah. This. This TV show, dude. I can't. Either it's my algorithm or it's just being force fed to my phone. But this guy keeps showing up on my phone, and he's like in comic skits that other countries put him in. The dude just doesn't get off my phone, and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna just start ignoring these stories with this dude in it because the dude is everywhere. And aside from that, though, a non-political something that the people has just gone, what, like, you're crazy, man, you're crazy. Plastic. Oh, global warming. We're fighting now.
Are you
Look,
mean
what? Go ahead.
okay?
I,
Yeah, yeah.
what's the right answer? Cat videos, dude.
Well, I don't think there's a right answer, right? It's just curious, what is one thing society's completely lost its mind? Joe, you wanted to say
Dude,
something
grass
else?
in the desert.
Grass
Yeah,
in the
that's what-
desert. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. And maybe that's something worth losing your mind over, right? That's a good idea.
God, I just planted last week.
I was
Anyway,
gonna say woke. People going woke. There's a big one. People want to be woke. Woke and
we're,
woke. All
we're
this
going to
bullshit.
sleep.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Seriously, I don't even care, dude.
Snowflakes.
You gotta share what woke is, Joe, right? Versus like, what you just said. Because,
It's woke. What does woke mean?
evolving and caring and making things matter is not the worst thing in the world, right?
You don't want to talk to me in the morning when I
And
wake up when I woke.
and then there's a conversation about, you know, completely countering anything that's scientifically based, right? Like, so when you talk about woke, what specifically you're referring to when you say it like that?
It relates to the people that want to stand for something that they're not, like equal rights for overly equal. I mean, kind of like uh the woke
Transgender.
shit was
Yeah,
unnecessary.
like a
Necessary.
person that stands up for something but doesn't know what they're talking about.
Well,
Like,
like there's you can go where the border of woke starts, like the stuff close to the border of the spectrum, that's fine. But there's stuff that goes so far that they're being woke about. I'm like, that doesn't even exist. That's a
Somewhere
non-issue. It's not even an
near the
issue.
bed and
They're
the
making it.
alarm clock.
yeah.
It's not even an issue anywhere else but with that person. It's really a non-issue, right? And non-existent issue is what it is. That type shit, I hate. I'm sick of that. There's stuff that's okay, but there's so much that's not even fucking on anybody's brain but that one guy's head, and he's making me too loud. He's on the news. Get the fuck off of me.
Okay.
So this is what's coming to me here now is the whole, like, why does someone lean towards this side of the spectrum for politics or someone over here, and then where are these people getting their information? Or so, like you said,
So are you saying, Brian, politics, people are losing their mind over politics?
well, yeah, it's to the woke part and whatnot. It's people are uninformed or ill-informed or picking fights that they have no fucking clue about what's really happening, right? And you spoke to it earlier, and I acknowledge I don't think you've had any scatological language in this. That I think what it is, like the gossip, people are unhappy. They want to cling to something, attach to something. They want to associate with something, right? It's like I'm on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
side of this.
It becomes part of their, they're speaking from a place they're feeling. It's almost like their identity. It's tribal. They've taken something on. It's become their identity. and they don't fully understand this
Hey, calm
identity.
down.
Like,
Fuck, man, shut up. Man.
This,
Yeah, exactly.
this, we're eating ourselves. There's, I mean, if we want to go into like what's in the food, now we got these microplastics, global warming and shit. No, I'm just gonna go fucking yell at my neighbor because he grows grass in the desert and freaking protests and drives electric cars or something.
that's all right. All right. So let me ask you guys this: what conspiracy theory is the one that gets you, or almost got you? Right? Which is the one that gets you?
Conspiracy theory.
Which one? Are we gonna put like a
Come on.
date range on this?
I
Like
don't know.
within the
Just
last-
just pick one. If you don't have any, don't just say I don't have one. I got like 10 of them.
Yeah, right, yeah,
I
you're right.
don't have one. I can come up with one. I can't. It's not quick. I know of one that it's not coming to me quickly right now. So I'm gonna say I don't have one yet, but I will by the time we're done here. There's a lot happening in my life that I think that's bullshit. Shut up over there. You guys shut up over there. I can't think of one right now, but it will come to me.
There are a few. There are a few that get my attention. Uh,
But
but it's like the moon landing. Is
I
that fake or not?
flat Earth.
They're flat earthers. That theory. Sometimes almost gets me. Uh, you
Yeah,
know,
those were dead by now. Flat Earth people.
well, I don't think the flat Earth theory doesn't get me. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm a flat earther. When people have the conversation, I'm like, oh my God, you got to be
Yeah,
kidding me.
eh,
Like, this isn't worth talking about, but it definitely, that conversation triggers me, or
White
maybe it's the dumbest argument
It is.
online.
White
Like, I don't even
Exactly.
know why it would matter, and
Yeah.
so,
dude,
I
the
think,
gold. Go. You think?
They're not on the ship going there. What do they give a fuck?
Continue.
yeah.
Continue with your thought.
Well, no, it's okay, right? But we're just looking at, what theory there just almost got you. Just curious to see.
The
We got
conspiracy
why
theory.
do
I
they
haven't of all the rainbows I've like chased. They're like, where's the gold, man? Like, where's the gold?
where's the
The
leprechauns?
gold at the end of the rainbow. Yeah, man. So, yeah, man. Okay, I appreciate and acknowledge you for bringing up conspiracy
Where's the
theories,
tooth fairy?
non-political, non. She's hanging out with Spider-Man, dude.
Never seen a
Non.
tooth fairy.
Well, so listen, yeah. Well, right. These are just, fun conversations, want to see where you guys are at. But there's a lot of stuff we could talk about, right? Like, what are some of the dumbest arguments online and what a bunch of conspiracy theories. So maybe in some of our episodes we'll step into some of
Let's
the
do. Let's
the
do.
deep conspiracies,
I'm
all right?
looking for non-religious, non-political, like what? Put the timer on. 20 seconds. Come up with
No,
it.
10, bro. Talk. Let's go.
Ah, non-political conspiracy.
Time's up, BP.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
good.
oh. Well, no, that's religion. All right, continue.
Well, listen, gentlemen, thanks for being here, right? Today's conversation, it wasn't about us having all the answers, right?
Yeah.
It's about seeing the world differently, man. The world's changing fast. Maybe the opportunity isn't becoming louder, angrier, more reactive. Maybe it's becoming more grounded, more aware, more self-generated when life happens. So life's gonna life. The question is at the Black Classes podcast is, who are you when it does? So
I'm gonna
thanks for being with us at the Black Classes podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.
Next time.
Ooh. Ooh.
My phone listening.
BP,
My phone listening to me, man. It's like
BP,